How did you feel when you open the news or open your phone and you see that this indictment took place? How would you describe the emotions?
I think I started crying.
Mm,
I'm always crying, but I think I was happy because first of all, I've been new about the murder. So this was new to everybody else. I knew a year ago.
mm,
But it wasn't my story. So I couldn't say anything. And I promised the family I wouldn't say anything. And I kept my word to the family.
mm.
Um, so when I finally seen everything unfold, yeah, I was happy because I feel he's where he belongs. He needs to be in jail.
Mm.
And he needs to stay in jail for everything that he's done to people. Absolutely.
Yeah, it is wild because I mean, a lot of people are saying that he might get 200 years if he's actually found guilty on the stuff that they've already charged him with, which sounds crazy. I mean, if he's 60, realistically, if he even gets 20 years, it's probably enough for him to never see the sun again.
Yeah, but he did it to himself.
Yeah.
Big U can't blame anyone for what's going on except for himself.
Definitely. You had a clip or something you said that was going around where you basically said that he was even extorting the food trucks outside of Crenshaw High.
That's what I said. I'm like, what? I got a call and they were like, yeah, he was extorting the food vendors. I'm like, what?
Oh, so somebody just told you that? It wasn't like something you saw firsthand?
It was someone that was a part of, I guess, some type of event. And now, mind you, I don't be at the events at Crenshaw, so I really just listen to what people tell me. But they were like, he was extorting us. He was extorting the food vendors and was making us pay all our money. I'm like, and y'all did it?
That's wild.
I'm like, wow.
That's crazy.
It was a situation where I had a friend, they were doing a back to school drive.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to extort and bully them because they were giving things away for kids in his neighborhood and he didn't approve it. And it's just like, what?
I mean, of all things.
Of all things.
That you feel like the need to get in between, that's wild.
Yeah.
Damn. So, I mean, I noticed that you have a security guard here with you. Is that because you feel like the threat is perhaps increased, or what's your mentality on your own personal safety at this point?
So no, because number one, I'm such a person where I'm like, listen, sometimes I think I'm Hancock because I just swear at this point in my life, I'm gonna protect myself, right? But when I step out for certain things in the industry now, I do have security with me. Number one, I went to jail last year. Oh. And if I would have had security with me in that situation, it would have turned out very different for me.
In the Big U situation?
In the Big U situation, right? Because I lost, right? And then number two, I am in the public eye. And so when I go out now, I need to make sure I'm protected. And I need to make sure that I'm not put in situations to where I could go back to jail as well because I'm reacting to something, if that makes sense.
No, totally. Do you feel like a lot of people in the industry, media, music industry people are basically cowards because they weren't willing to do something in the situation, or you also just empathize with them because you've been that person who was scared to say something at various points as well, right?
I think both. I empathize, but I also feel it is a lot of cowards. I feel that now that we've seen in the news with the Rayshawn situation, right? And this is the thing. I used to always say me, because it was my story. So this happened to me. But in time, my eyes have opened because it's not just my story. It's other people's stories too, right? And I feel like now that we have the information with the Rayshawn situation, this is the time that the music industry should come together and say, we won't tolerate this. This is the time that the hip hop industry should come together and say, okay, we're not going to tolerate this. We're not tolerating a young Black boy that had dreams to be murdered by a music executive, as they call him, which I don't feel he deserves that title, but whatever the case may be. And we have people in hip hop, in the hip hop community, that stand up behind him. It should be nobody within a community that approves that or that stands behind him. And so that's why I say, yeah, they're cowards, because a sensible person, a dignified person, won't tolerate that at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of situations in hip hop that are like that, where it's, people, I love Young Thug, but I mean, you saw that situation play out where people were saying free Young Thug, but also when you look at the situation that he was being accused of and everything, it's like, even for somebody like me, it's hard to say free Young Thug when you're basically saying free this guy that is being credibly accused of basically helping orchestrate a bunch of murders. And hip hop kind of runs into this problem a lot because on one hand, we all celebrate music that is basically quite often talking about illegal, immoral things. Mm-hmm. And we want our heroes to be free on the streets and everything. But at the same time, sometimes that is kind of logically incoherent.
With the Young Thug situation, and I hate to say this, I didn't follow the trial in regards to knowing the details, right? The only thing that I really knew about the Young Thug trial was, what's his name, Woody? That was
really kind of stole the show, yeah.
Right. So that is what I really knew about the trial. I never really, researched his trial like that. But yeah, that shouldn't stand. But for Big U with this situation, it was a young boy involved.
Yeah.
And even if it was a adult older guy, that's still bad, but it was a young boy who had his dreams. Why couldn't he go to the NFL, but your son went? Why did you take away his dreams and make sure your son was able to live his dreams? Why didn't his dreams matter? Why didn't his life matter? And those are questions that we within the community need to ask.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of us have kind of like accepted that gangsters are going to kill other gangsters. When it goes outside that, it seems particularly warped.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing, Adam. You said it. When you're part of the mafia, right? You're going after certain people, right? Whether it's the Russian mafia, Mexican gangs, Crip Bloods, whatever the case may be, right? But we're talking about a young boy that had potential to go to the NFL. We're talking about a boy where Big U had decades over him. The same way with Nipsey, the same way with me. If you can't help us, don't hinder us. If you can't help us, don't hurt us. If you couldn't help them, why hurt them? Does that make sense?
Definitely. What where are you at in life in general right now? You said you have 4 kids.
Yeah.
What ages? Just curious.
I'll try to keep my private life so private.
That's smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, where would you say you're at in your life right now in terms of what you've managed to build for yourself and everything like that?
So right now I'm in school. I graduate in a couple of months with my paralegal degree.
Oh, congrats.
And then in a couple of years I'll have my law degree and I'll be an attorney.
Wow.
I'm still putting out music. I'm also within the film industry. I just had a film that dropped. And yeah, like everything business wise for me is really good. I have new deals on the table, new business colleagues, new partnerships. That area of my life is really good. And I'm excited for what's going, what's going to come. So,
no doubt. I mean, to be honest, I was kind of trying to stay agnostic on the whole Big Youth thing when it first happened and stuff. Obviously, you don't really wish jail on anybody, but hearing a story like yours, it kind of can't help but kind of push me in the other direction of like, damn, this really was inevitable, number one.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, a lot of pain was created through some of the stuff that he was doing. So
it definitely was. It was. And I had to stress that Big U is never an asset to me. And I think that's what people have to understand. I was SKG before he was ever Big U within this industry. I had my status. I had everything. He was trying to get in the door. Nipsey was trying to get in the door, right? And I want to separate Nipsey and Big U because Nipsey created a legacy, right? Big U just tore people down, and nothing good came out of dealing with him. Nothing. And we're starting to see the real him. And I'm happy that the world is able to see that now.
Did you scope that Big Sam interview or Black Sam interview from a couple months ago where he didn't really say certain things, but a lot of people were reading a lot into what he was saying in terms of what his thoughts on Big U's potential involvement with Nip might have been.
Sam spoke so loud without saying too much. We all know what he meant. Everyone who's seen Black Sam interview felt exactly and understood exactly what he was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to kind of wonder how much he knew about what might have been coming as well.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, even just a couple weeks ago, Wack telling me about the Vegas murder, it was blowing my mind. I'm sitting here on the podcast thinking, like, are you just trolling me? Or is this like is this real?
Oh, and you found out a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that I found out.
See, we all knew last year. This was a conversation amongst us last year, but it was nothing nobody can say because the family asked us not to speak.
Right.
So.
Damn. So you would get a marathon burger?
Me?
Yeah. Have you had one yet?
No, I'm on a diet, but
same.
Once my diet's over, yeah.
I made an exception, but yeah, that's a good burger. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't really got a dog in the fight, but that was a good burger.
I think his family is doing an excellent job with his legacy. I think Sam is doing a really good job with, keeping his brother memory alive.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your story. It was really moving, and I think, for a lot of people, it's like, I think this conversation will probably help humanize some of the stuff that's happened recently because, to some people, I feel like they're maybe having a hard time imagining who the victims were in this whole indictment and everything. But to hear how much bullshit you had to deal with and how, a normal person probably would have given up on their hopes and dreams. So it's definitely motivational to see that you're still forging your own path.
Absolutely. And I want to say a few things before we sign off.
Sure.
When I showed you the paperwork, the email when Big U was trying to extort me in 2014, this is so important because I really need to give this man a shout out. I did have someone come up to that show with Live Nation that protected me. He came and he was ready for war. And because he came up there and had my back, Big U didn't show up because he was threatening me to come up there. So I want to give a shout out to Bumpy Bars. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
I want you to look him up.
Bumpy Bars, okay.
He is a rapper from Inglewood, Crenshaw Mafia. And he came up there. He stayed with me the whole night. We were protected and he was ready. And I can honestly say he had my back, like, to the fullest. And it's people like Bumpy Bars that need to be acknowledged, especially when you're in a situation where you feel like no one is there to help you or no one is there, to make sure that you're okay. Because he was definitely ready for Big U. And because he was there, Big U didn't show up.
Well, that's good. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We gotta protect the women in this industry and community and shit like that. It's inspiring to hear that anybody was willing to stick their neck out for you. Bumpy
Bars did. So I just want to say that because I want people to know that. I really want to give him his flowers. And then another thing, Adam, like how Wack 100, 600 is really good guys in the industry. And I don't want to just dim the Black community light in the sense of there is no good Black men or good people within the hoods, because it is. Keita Rock helped me. Code 187 Hutch, I came up under him from above the law. Del Dog rested in peace. He took me to Steve Harvey and got me my first interview. B Brazy and Mondoose, when they were doing the Figure Word Riders album, they were the first people to let me come sit in the studio with them and look at how an album is put together, right? And I just want to show the Black men within the community that it is good people. Big Yerk, he's from the East Side. These are guys that have mentored me and that have had my back and have helped me, right? But then you have people like Big U. So I just wanted to give those guys a shout out because we do have good Black men within the community.
Do you ever think about changing the name, or you're just rocking with it for life?
I've heard that so many times. I don't know. You think I should change it?
No, I think it's cool. I think it's like an important part of your history. And if your name was Suge Knight Girl, then you should probably change it. But the initials I like.
You know that's what it stands for.
I know, but it's like, it's like the abbreviation is good.
But I said like Super Craze Goddess. I don't know. I've been trying to come up with different things throughout the year,
Definitely.
Yeah. And I want to also say this because I just want to say this, Reggie Wright. We have argued throughout the years a lot because I told Reggie I felt like he was very mean to me when I was a young girl coming up. But, I want to also shout out Reggie with those guys because Reggie did give me a chance and Reggie did do some nice things for me and he did have my back. So I want to put Reggie right on the list with the guys too that were mentors to me as well.